alaikum. Another year has come and gone, and our beloved Ramadan is back. This year, though, Ramadan will be significantly different due to COVID-19. If we really think about this year, we'll be going back to the roots of Ramadan. There'll be no collective Taraweeh prayers at masajid and no communal iftars.
Instead, much like during the Prophet's time, there will be individual Taraweeh and our iftar will exclusively be at home.
These traditions are being compelled upon us because of COVID-19. Then there are those traditions that we don't strongly pay attention to.
This Ramadan, let's try to bring some of those back. Ibn Abbas narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said was the most generous amongst the people, and he used to be more so in the month of Ramadan. From last Ramadan, the Road to Zero Waste team has reached several milestones. We opened a fridge in Brampton and Milton. We saved nearly 30,000 pounds of food, which has fed thousands of families. We have obtained charitable status, and we've contracted with the biggest food organization in Canada, Second Harvest, for weekly donations.
In the coming years, we'll be establishing 4 more community fridges in the GTA. We'll be starting projects based on shipping surplus food to famine-struck countries around the globe. In order to achieve those goals during this Ramadan, the Road to Zero Waste team is asking you to make charity a big part of your Ramadan. A simple example of that would be to designate a box similar to this one, gather whatever you can, and direct those funds to our Launch Good campaign. The link to that is in the description of this video.
Allah asked you to abstain from food morning to evening. And trust me, when you break your fast in the evening, that's not a sign of doing qada for the lunch that you missed. No.
The Prophet ﷺ would break his fast with dates, preferably fresh, if not then dry dates. Additionally, there are some narrations that the Prophet ﷺ would eat barley for iftar, such simple meals.
Let's bring that tradition of our Prophet back this Ramadan. Many times we go to the masjid or get invited for iftar. When you look at the dining table after people have finished eating, you see a cringeworthy amount of food that's left behind. While fasting for 14 to 16 hours, people either lose their appetite and are not able to consume food, or as the Sheikh mentioned, people try to overcompensate for their lost time and try to eat a whole day's eating in one sitting, which leads to excess food that's unfortunately thrown out.
In preparation of Ramadan, many Muslims overstock on their food, and sometimes that overstock gets rotten or ends up in the back of our fridges, never to be used. During the month of Ramadan and on the road to retaining our traditions, the Prophet ﷺ said about eating, "The offspring of Adam fills no vessel worse than his stomach. Sufficient for the child of Adam are a few morsels to keep his back straight. If he must eat more, then a third should be for his food, a third of his drink, and a third left for air."
If that is how our Prophet ﷺ deemed the necessity of food, then overstocking itself should be kept to a minimum, especially during Ramadan. If you do have excess food, that's where Road to Zero Waste enters. During this month, if you cannot make do with your surplus produce, dry foods, or fruits, bring them to our fridge, where we can distribute it to those who are more in need.
Our pain this Ramadan will be in missing out on dining at the local masjid and the communal iftar, where we invite our friends and family to share our food. Standing behind the Quran to understand the word of Allah during the beautiful recitation of the Quran will be sorely missed. And the exceedingly heartfelt dua and qiyam in the last 10 nights. Nevertheless, it's our tradition that we must need to resurrect, much like in Derlis Ertugrul, which I'm sure most of you have watched. Let us bring back the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ and give to the needy and don't overindulge in the blessings of Allah. If we can control the vessel, that's the stomach, we can control the mind and much more.
As we mentioned earlier, Road to Zero Waste has rescued over 1,000 pounds of food and fed over 1,000 families since the previous Ramadan. It is obvious that Road to Zero Waste has been putting in a lot of work through means of our community fridge. Many of you are probably wondering what has made us follow through with our mission and what type of challenges do we face as an organization. Do people abuse the fridge? What does public health have to say about this initiative? And most importantly, is the food safe? In our next video, we will give you answers to all your questions and how we've had to alter a few things during the COVID-19 pandemic. During the month of Ramadan, we will continue to post one video every week. Much like previous Ramadans, we once again have a Launch Good campaign to raise funds this year. Click on the link in the description to support our cause by making monetary donations. You can also subscribe to our channel and don't forget to ring the bell to find out when our next video is posted. For details on our project, visit us at roadtozerowaste.org or follow us on Facebook at Road to Zero Waste. We are here to save the environment, one day at a time. Until next time, be safe and be well.